Here's the biggest mistake people make when planning a camping trip to Banff. They wait until spring to start thinking about reservations. By then, every single weekend at the best campgrounds is already booked solid, if not every day in the summer. Why? Because in late January, yes, January, Parks Canada opens up reservations for the entire summer season, and people in the know are sitting at our computers ready to snag those coveted lakeside sites the minute they become available. If you're planning to camp in Banff this summer, this episode is going to save you from the frustration of finding out everything's booked when you're ready to plan your trip. Welcome back to the Banff Travel Podcast. I'm your host, Celine Brewer, a Canmore local who loves camping, hiking, and exploring in these Rocky Mountains. Today, we're diving into everything you need to know about camping in Banff National Park, from how the reservation system actually works to which campgrounds to choose, to the critical safety rules you absolutely need to follow. This is the practical, no-nonsense guide to making your Banff camping trip a success. Let me start with the single most important thing you need to know about camping in Banff. Reservations for the entire summer season open in late January each year. Parks Canada typically announces the exact date in early December, and it's usually around the end of January. This year, they announced the dates on December 1st, so we now know that camping reservations for Banff will be Friday, January 23rd for front country, and Monday, January 26th for the back country. Jasper will be Tuesday, January 27th for the front country, and Wednesday, January 28th for the back country. We also get to know when the Lake Louise and Marine Lake Shuttle reservation will be, so that's going to be on Wednesday, April 15th in 2026. I'm not going to list out all the dates here because that's not helpful. I do have a post on Instagram I made recently about these important dates, so go check that out under Travel Banff Canada, and I'll link to it in the show notes. I also highly recommend getting on my email list to get reminders and more tips on booking campgrounds in January. Now, as I mentioned, when that date hits, you can book campsites for the entire season. We're talking May through October, all at once. And here's what happens. Locals and regular Banff visitors who know about this system are sitting at their computers before 8 a.m. Mountain Time on reservation day, ready to book their favorite sites. Within hours, those weekend spots at popular campgrounds are going to be gone. And I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to save you disappointment. If you wait until April or May to book your summer camping trip, you're going to find that your options are extremely limited, especially for weekends. Now, you can make reservations two ways. First, through the Parks Canada reservation website. I prefer this way because you can see a map of the campsites, choose your exact spot. You can also see availability in the calendar, which is super helpful. Secondly, if you prefer, you can book things over the phone. Now, keep in mind that camping in Banff is only allowed in designated campgrounds, so you will want to have your campsites booked. And there's really only 2 campgrounds left in Banff National Park that are first come, first serve. There are a few more for Jasper along the Icefields Parkway. Those first come, first serve campgrounds are getting fewer and fewer between, so it's really best to plan ahead. All right, now this is the really important part of your planning. Between now and when reservations open up, I want you to do the following 5 things. 1, get on my email list so you get any tips I share and any reminders I send out. 2, I want you to research the campgrounds, figure out which ones are your preferred and have a backup. Do you need service? Do you need unserviced? Figure out what you need, figure out which campgrounds have them, and which ones are your preferred ones. Step 3, I want you to go one step further and choose which campsites or loops are most appealing to you. Make yourself a list that you can have beside you when it's time to make reservations. Step 4. This one is a must. Make sure you've created your account on the Parks Canada reservation system and you know exactly how to navigate to the campgrounds you want. What drop-down option are they under? What tab are they under? Are they under front country, back country, equipped sites, and even shuttles? They're all under different tabs. Step 5, I want you to set an alarm for the day those reservations open. On the day of the launch for the campgrounds you want, do not wait until 8 a.m. to get on the system. At 8 a.m., everybody on the site will be placed in a random queue. If you get on the system after that, you go to the back of the line. Also, just an FYI, it makes no difference if you log in at 5 a.m. or 7:30 a.m. People were claiming last year that that's how they must have gotten such a short wait in the queue, but that's not how it works. It's random. Now, I haven't camped at all of the campgrounds, but I can tell you a few things about some of the campgrounds. So The Tunnel Mountain campgrounds are closest to town, which can be a really nice option, especially if you have e-bikes with you. What I love about Tunnel Mountain is the convenience. You're close enough to town that you can easily pop in for supplies or for dinner, but you still feel like you're camping in the mountains. There's also public transit that stops at these campgrounds, which is fantastic. Two Jack Main and Two Jack Lakeside are about 10 kilometers from town. And Two Jack Lakeside is probably the most sought after front country campground in the entire park. It's right on the shores of Two Jack Lake. So Two Jack Main is usually easier to get a spot at. Johnston Canyon Campground is about 20 to 25 kilometers from Banff along the Bow Valley Parkway. The big draw here is that you're steps away from Johnston Canyon. And last year I did find spots still available here after the launch date. The Lake Louise campground is divided into hard-sided and soft-sided sections. This is important. The soft-sided section is enclosed by an electric fence because of the bear activity. If you have any soft-sided camping equipment like tents, tent trailers, you must camp in this section. Hard-sided units only in the hard-sided section. Then there are the campgrounds along the Icefields Parkway, some that are reservable and a couple that are first come, first serve. Once we get into Jasper National Park, Whistler's is huge, and you also have Wapiti nearby. Both are great options. Just know that the campgrounds were hugely impacted by the fires in 2024. Finally, there's also camping in nearby Yoho National Park, Kootenay National Park, and Kananaskis, all nearby and easy for you to explore the area from there. If you're into backcountry camping, then make sure you make note of those dates too, as so many of those campsites go so quickly. It's also important to note that Yoho National Park and Kootenay National Park, because they are national parks, have the same date announcement through Parks Canada. I'll put links into the show notes where you can find those dates, but Kananaskis is a provincial park, so it's run by Alberta Parks, not Parks Canada, and you can reserve campgrounds there 90 days in advance. One last thing I'd like to mention about the campground themselves is the Parks Canada Authentics. If you want a camping experience but don't have all the gear, or you just want a little bit more comfort, these are basically glamping tents that Parks Canada has installed at select campgrounds. Inside, you get 2 queen beds, a double bunk above, thick foam mattresses, a table with chairs, small electric heater, and some lighting. Outside, there's a wooden deck with Adirondack chairs, a picnic table, and a fire pit. You still need to bring sleeping bags, pillows, cooking equipment, and all your food and camping supplies, but you don't need a tent, sleeping pads, or any of that big bulky equipment. These can be a really fun option, especially if you can rent sleeping bags and camping equipment when you arrive. There are Authentics at Tunnel Mountain Village 2, at Two Jack Lakeside in Banff, and at Whistler's in Jasper National Park, and also Red Streak in Kootenay. They sleep up to 6 people and obviously cost more than a regular campsite, but it's still less than half the cost of even the cheapest hotel in Banff during peak season. The catch, Authentics book up incredibly fast. If you want one, you need to be ready when reservations open in January. And there are also equipped campsites at Two Jack Main, which come with the tent and sleeping cots. Now, I want to talk about something that's absolutely critical for your safety and for wildlife protection, and that's the bear campsite program. This is not optional, and failing to follow these rules can result in huge fines, camping permits being revoked, or worse, you contributing to a bear having been destroyed. Here's the rule. No food, no coolers, no dishes, no toiletries, no garbage, nothing that could attract wildlife can be left unattended anywhere on your campsite. Everything must be either locked in your vehicle or in the bear-proof food lockers provided at the site. And I mean everything. The tube of toothpaste in the locker. Sunscreen in the locker. The dishes you just washed in the locker. That bag of chips you left on the picnic table while you went to the bathroom, also can't do that. Parks Canada staff will enter your campsite if they see attractants left out, and they have the authority to secure them for you, but you'll also end up with a warning or even a fine. Now, why is this so important? Because a bear that gets human food becomes a problem bear. Problem bears keep coming back for more, becoming increasingly bold and dangerous, and ultimately have to be put down. That's not an exaggeration. Bears that become habituated to human food are typically euthanized. So please, I urge you, if you are coming here, take this seriously. Use those food lockers or your car religiously. Don't leave anything out, even for a minute while you run to the bathroom. And your cooler, it also goes in your vehicle every time. Coolers are not bear-proof. Now, camping in Banff is an incredible experience that lets you fully immerse yourself in the Rocky Mountain wilderness. The key to success is planning ahead, mark your calendar for when reservations open in January, know which campground you want, and be ready to book. Always remember those critical safety rules and keeping a bare campsite. This protects both you and the wildlife. Thanks for listening to the Banff Travel Podcast. If you found this helpful, make sure to follow the show so you don't miss the next episode. And if you have a camping question, head to banfftravelplanning.com/podcast and send it in. Until next time, happy camping, and I'll see you out on the trails.